Life is full of those little dichotomies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like the little spiel, and then we'll just
Yeah.
we'll start off.
Okay, is this sounding good?
It does actually. It sounds good. Yeah.
Here?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Good.
Okay, here we go. Shake it out. Okay. Hi guys, and welcome to the Performing Musicians podcast. Today, I'm super excited to chat to singer, songwriter, an all-round lovely musical person, Nuala. How are you, Nuala?
I'm great, thanks. How are you? I thought I said that in a bit of an Australian accent then as well. I'm great, thanks.
I'm bloody ripper, mate.
I'm bloody ripper. Thank you very much.
So thanks very much for being on. Just to kick us off, can you tell us what do you do and how long have you been doing it?
So I'm a singer-songwriter and I've been doing it all my life. And yeah, since I was like 4, which I know sounds a bit cliche, but at the same time, I can't remember a time when I didn't sing or want to do music.
Right.
Always been very passionate about it. So yeah.
That's amazing. So from 4.
No, I mean, I think it's just like my earliest, like my mum said that, like the time that she realized I could sing was I was in a nativity play at school, and I was the angel Gabriel, and I did like a solo performance, and I walked down the aisle and I had my little like angel costume on, and then everyone was like, oh, she's got a voice. And I can't even remember that much, but that's what I mean, is that it's always been in my life. It's always been like, okay, I'm going to be a singer. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to do music. There's never been anything else.
That's pretty cool, man. That's not that usual, you know.
Really? I don't know. Well, some people find it later, maybe.
Yeah, I think most people sort of go, yeah, I really like that. And then they discover they're good at it. And then they go, oh, well, I'm going to do this. But not many people from the time they could walk or before go, I'm going to be a singer. Yeah,
I think I've always had like a natural ability. I've always had a talent for it to start with. And then I think also my mum and my dad actually like both quite musical, and we're in bands together when they were younger. And then like my mum's a guitarist, singer, my dad's a drummer. So I've always got like natural rhythm as well. Like I love playing drums. If I'm at a party, I love getting on a djembe, you know, get everyone dancing. And yeah, it's just like a natural ability that I have. So I think because of that, I think, you know, especially my mum's always been very like supportive and kind of been like, yeah, you can do it. Seems like I think not a lot of people, not everyone has that from their parents and from people around them, that like, you know, support system.
So where are you from originally?
Leicestershire. In the Midlands.
In the Midlands.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a bit of a running joke, but I feel like we don't really have much of an identity in the Midlands because we're not either northern or southern, you know? So if you go to north, they're like, you're a southerner. But if you go down south, they're like, nah, you're northern. And it's like, oh, where do we belong?
In the middle.
So right in the middle. Yeah. Furthest away from the sea you can get. But no, it's lovely, but there's no music scene there. So that's why I had to come to London.
And so is your family here now as well, or you moved down here yourself? Or
no, I moved here myself. I moved here to go to uni because I thought, you know, well, mainly to pursue the music dream. But at the time I knew that I couldn't just go without any plan or idea. So I thought the best way to do that is to study music. So I did. And to be honest, like, it helped somewhat, but I think really I could have just, if I had the knowledge I've got now, then, do you know what I mean? I could have probably just gone and done the whole thing and just network. And because it's not about, you don't go and do a course to kind of learn it. Do you know what I mean? You have to put yourself out there and actually meet people and gig and everything like that. And that's how I've gained a lot of opportunities more than anything.
So that you don't have to get like, before you go onto a jam stage, they don't give you like, so what's the fifth inversion of the minor 7 scale?
Oh, God.
Could you imagine?
It's quite funny because I feel like there was like a bit of, although it wasn't really, but I know it was quite funny. There was quite a lot of jokes, but it was like the popular music students and the jazz students, a bit of rivalry. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like the jazz students are like the ones that know their theory and they know all of the like fancy shit, and yet like in the pop students like, oh, you just know 3 chords, but we're the performers and the songwriters. Do you know what I mean? You write a good song though, jazz student. No.
Well, I mean, it's in, that's, I was talking to someone the other day. It's like the level of success is inversely proportionate to the amount of chords in the song.
Yes.
It's
well,
like,
but that's just because simple is best.
Well, I think so. I mean, let's get back to that. I want to get a bit more of your backstory before we start discussing the philosophy of pop marketing.
What makes a good song?
Yeah, that's right. So you grew up in Leicestershire, is that right? No, Lincolnshire. Leicestershire. Sorry.
Yeah, in a little town called Shilton, on the outskirts.
Okay, and so that's a small town.
Yeah, it's kind of a small town. It's got a bit bigger now, but yeah, quite small. You have to get a taxi or a bus every hour to get into central Leicester, so there's not really much to do around there and stuff. It's one of those situations, but it was all right. Average town, really. And
so your parents were musicians. Were they working musicians, or were they just people that really enjoyed to play and sing?
No, yeah. So they just did it as like hobby, like pub gigs and things like that, and like really into their rock music. So kind of grew up with a lot of that, like Nirvana and Led Zeppelin and all that stuff. Like the first gig that I went to go see was with my mum and my brother. I went to go see Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Oh, wow.
Like 12. So that was a fucking amazing first concert to go to, because they're like my favorite band, Do you
remember what album that was off the back of?
I think it was Stadium Arcadian.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. That was so good. We were in the standing bit, and there's all these like bottle fights going on down in the arena, People were going mental. Oh, it's so good.
That's great.
My mom does. She is my dad's a computer programmer. Almost got that wrong then. But my mom does computer ethics, and she is a lecturer at De Montfort University, and she teaches computer ethics, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like I don't know, about like Big Brother and the ethics behind like
privacy
and things
and
like that. Privacy, data protection, stuff like that.
I mean, that is topical at the moment, isn't it? It's just this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've sold our souls to the big tech at the moment. I think it's not good.
Yeah.
So you growing up in a small town, you realised when you were 4 that you're going to be a star. So
yes.
did you do music in school, and did you actually do music as like through high school? Or did you just really enjoy it, singing it, playing it, or?
Yeah, I did. And I always enjoyed the music classes. I did music GCSE and music A level. I was never very good at theory. That was always something that, I got A stars in all my performing and songwriting. And then my theory would just bring my grade down because I was just never interested in it. And it's kind of, and I've still not really grasped it. Every now and again, I'm like, I should learn stuff and get into it. And I get bored with it. I can't knuckle down and learn the ins and outs of it. It's kind of like maths a little bit, and I've never been good at that side of things, like where you have to like logical shit like that.
Well, there's only two real international languages. One's mathematics and one's music, because they're actually very similar. Like, music, if you write music down, it's just breaking time up into smaller divisions and spaces on a grid. That's all music is. It's
formula.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
do you know theory?
I
with your theory.
I love that stuff.
I thought you might, actually. I thought you might.
I'm a complete nerd. In fact, I've spent the last month really working on one particular modality of the of this particular modal system, and I just love it.
Oh, wow.
It's just because it's, for me, like, I love performing and I love like interacting with the crowd and, doing the do. But for me, the juice is also in getting something that's like a really something that you feel like is like what everybody else is doing, and just giving it like that 5-degree twist. And I think the performers that I really enjoy, like the musicians that I really enjoy, they take tropes and they just give it a little twist, and they give it a little twist with just that little bit of knowledge. And when I was younger, I just wanted to play as fast as I could. Just fast. Just doesn't matter what it is, just got to be fast. Now, like, as I get older, the more I want to get into these little wormholes. So I love theory. I love it. It's great.
It's definitely good to know. It's like useful. I think especially if you get stuck with knowing what chord to go to and things like that, but I don't know. I think that's one thing though that I use it as a defense to be like, oh, I don't need it, because actually that's what makes some of my songs more unique sounding. Because actually sometimes when I'm like with certain musicians that do know their theory in that, they'll be like, oh, you use that chord there and that's not what you should have usually go to. And I'm like, oh, did I? It just sounded good because I'm just feeling it and seeing. I'm not thinking, oh, okay, this should go with this. So I'm not thinking with that brain so much.
Well, I was listening to a podcast from just about guitar, and basically theory is just a way of explaining the melodies that you hear. So if you hear the melody, and if you hear like where all theory does, I mean, ultimately, if you are just going, well, we can't do that because it's not, the fifth inversion or whatever, then you're kind of a wanker. Like if you limit your creativity because it's not within a structure, then but if you're writing for like something specific and you have to write it in this form, like if it's for something or it's then that's fine. But if you're creating something and you go, well, I can't do that because that's not typically done, then that theory limits you. But if you can explain what it is through theory, ultimately that is going to enable you to share your music with other musicians. So that's
true. And work with other musicians.
If you write a great tune and you put a chord in a weird spot which is not expected, but that's like the juice of the song. Like it doesn't matter how you came to it. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter if you theoretically know exactly why that works. Yeah. If it works, it works.
Yeah.
So and if you then go, well, I'm actually subverting this genre by introducing like a parallel minor, like people go, oh, that's very sophisticated. Just, if you stumble across a cool chord and it sounds cool, then it's cool. It's like
it does feel good when you have these like really like amazing guitarists or something, or they really know their stuff and they're like, oh, that's clever what you did there, and I'm like, oh, is it?
Yes, exactly. Okay. Yes, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
It's like it's like wine tasting. I went on these when I was much younger. I sort of I've got to figure out what this whole wine tasting thing's all about. Yeah. And then ultimately, like one of these people that were on a tour, they just said, basically, if it tastes nice, it's good. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
But I don't think even like the expensive stuff, like, because I've had like expensive bottles of champagne versus like the cheap stuff, right? And it tastes the same, man. I've like tried a £300 bottle of champagne and then like it tastes like Lambrini. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, but maybe wine is a bit different. Like there's some more, but I don't know.
Maybe I'm not sophisticated enough to tell. I don't know. But also, it doesn't matter. Like that's the thing. That's the other side of it. Like if it like that's with music. Like if you've got a song, some of the best songs that have ever been written have got 3 chords, 4 chords, and
they are,
doesn't matter. There's also a theoretical reason why that works. Like there's a reason that that pretty much 80% of pop music is about 4 chord sequences.
Well, I think as well. What is the reason? Have you got the explanation for it?
Well, the reason is the way the chords go one after the other, mathematically, sonically, and societally, the formula works. And so the reason that every second Ed Sheeran song is that same bunch of chords is because those same bunch of chords sound really good together in that sequence.
Yeah. But I think it is as well that a lot of like pop songs and stuff, it's not about the chords and everything. It's about the melody, isn't it? It's about something you can like, latch on to, and the lyrics as well, depending on what the song is. It's not about the guitar chords, really. Not often.
It's not. But I mean, like a song like "Single Ladies."
All the single ladies. Mm-hmm.
But if you listen, if you listen to the production of that song, there's basically no harmony at all outside of the vocal line until they go into the bridge section. Because everything is just do. It's just a little bit. It's all production, but there's basically no harmony except for the vocal lines.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic song.
Beat.
It's a fantastic song.
Yeah. It's got that bit it's got that catchy bit in there, you see. It's got that oh,
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what chords go underneath it. I could play that song with all these subverted chords and put these jazz substitutions under it. I just sound like a wanker.
Yeah. It is. It's like jazz music is kind of seen that way, isn't it? As well, it is just like music for other musicians to wank off to, basically.
Oh yeah, but don't get me wrong, I absolutely love that stuff. Like to me, there is a time and a place for that stuff. Like a lot of the music that I write is music for literally musicians. Like I've just released an EP, and it's instrumental guitar music, and
That's wicked.
it's, you know, if I played it for you, you'd probably go, "Oh, that's nice," because you know me. And you go, oh yeah, that's
no,
oh, that's...
I don't know, but you're a shit hot guitarist though.
Yeah,
so
yeah, but the point is, like the music, I wrote that music for me, and about 0.05% of the population, and all like it's, to put it frankly, it's all nerdy guys that love it, and that's fine because I'm a nerdy guy. I love guitar music, so you know,
it's your target audience.
But that's it. So if you're going to write music that is supposed to reach a wide audience, write it in a way that is going to reach the people. Like if you put all these complex harmonies and all these complex chords, if you want to say something direct and meaningful to people, you're better off to put it in a package that people can contextualize and sounds roughly familiar. It just depends what you want to do. It's all the same. I'm not writing a song that's going to change the world. I'm writing a song that I really dig because I love to play this type of guitar, and I'm a bit of a show off. You know, that's ultimately what it is.
And someone will appreciate that. There's always going to be someone that will appreciate it. If you do, then someone will. That's the thing, isn't it?
But that's the thing. Music, all music has its place somewhere. You know, it just depends. You've got to find the niche. But anyway, that's all. It's all metaphysics and stuff. So you go through. Do you remember? Do you remember the song or a moment where you sort of you decided, okay, this is what I really want to do? Like when it lit you up.
Oh wow. I think that's hard. I don't know like a specific song, but like certain like artists and stuff. I remember like, you know, because besides like rock music and stuff, which I grew up with, you know, when I was a lot younger, like I used to love like Spice Girls and like, you know, like Christina Aguilera. Like I listened to her album so much, the Dirty album, Stripped album. So I guess really like probably like 11, 12-year-old me when I first start getting properly into music, as in, and I think that's the age that most people do, right? When they start like kind of putting CDs on and actually like, you know, and when you had CDs and I'd sit on my bed and like look at the booklet and read all the lyrics and literally replay the album over and over again. And around that time, it was music like that. It was like Christina Aguilera. I loved like Black Eyed Peas, Ella Funk album, and Monkey Business. That was later, or the one before, I can't remember. But then a lot of just like, I don't know. So I don't know like a specific song because I think that's so hard because my music taste has always been quite eclectic.
Yeah.
Because I've always loved, you know, like obviously, you know, like the pop punk rock bands like Green Day and Blink-182 and things like
Paramore.
that. Like,
Paramore was always.
Paramore.
I really love Paramore.
How did I forget Paramore? You know, like Hayley Williams, I've got to say, was an inspiration.
She's amazing.
You know, yeah, she's fabulous. Yeah, she's wicked. So I think she definitely was. But I think Joss Stone was someone else that was an inspiration.
Right.
Actually, when I think about it, when I go kind of deeper into, because I kind of feel like I've got a unique voice, but it's something that's kind of grown over time, right? And you think, and it's hard. I've always found it really difficult when people outrightly ask you like, who are your inspirations? Because I feel like they're expecting me to say something similar to what I sound like.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
like people are expecting that. And actually the truth is like, it's like the inspiration. I think it's like when you dig deeper, like into your past, then you can find it. But like the inspirations as to like what is currently like now in my music sphere is maybe not what they're not going to get it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially if I start listening off rock bands and stuff. But then again, I've actually, because I've been inspired by like that kind of music, I actually, for ages, I just used to belt all the time. It just used to be, I was very into like, it's got a lot to do with me wanting to be like, listen to me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here. So if ever I play like a pub gig and stuff, like, you know, and people weren't that interested, they bloody would be, because I'd be shouting, you know, I'd be like, ah! And then I realized that light and shade is good. And it's nice to bring in that, like those soulful elements of my voice and things like that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, like people like Joss Stone, also like, I think the lyrical content inspired by people like, you know, like Lily Allen, like the whole Brit pop
Yep.
indie stuff. Lily Allen and Kate Nash, like that
Yep.
was definitely like my, you know, they were really present when I was at that age, like a teenager. So
Absolutely.
like, yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Lily Allen's great. I can hear that in you actually a little bit, just because that
Yeah.
that frankness, that very much that forthrightness and honesty.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
definitely
that's what
comes
I mean.
through.
I think it's the lyrical content. That's why
Yeah.
I say like I think I've kind of jam a lot of like my inspirations in together, because I don't sound like Lily Allen. My voice isn't Lily Allen. It's definitely more on the like soulful, slightly rocky edge of things, depending on what kind of songs I'm doing. But the frank lyrics is very much me. I'm not very good with metaphors. I just say it as it is.
Do you follow Joss Stone still on Instagram and stuff?
Yeah, I just got her on, because I've just got on TikTok recently, and I'm trying to like get on that, but so I just got her on TikTok as well, and yeah, I remember she did some like YouTube stuff recently, and she was kind of doing collabs with different musicians from like different places around the world, which was really amazing.
Yeah,
like,
she's
I really
funny.
Love them.
She's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I'm not. I think I've aged out of TikTok, to be honest with you.
God.
Anybody?
Have you checked it out?
Oh yeah, I've got kids, mate, so I know all about TikTok.
Yeah.
But if I went on TikTok, it would just be embarrassing.
No, but you know what? There's a lot of like, you'd be surprised. Like people are using it for many different things, and
I know there's a lot of musicians on TikTok now, isn't there?
Yeah, and lots more people are getting on it, because the thing with TikTok is it's much easier to go. It took me a little while to get into it, and I'm trying to get it now, but like it's much easier for things to go viral on TikTok, because unlike like Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that, like you're only, every time you post something, you're only posting out to like the people that are on that follow you, right?
Yes.
But like on TikTok, it can go on other people's what they call For You page. So various other people can see it, and that's how videos are going viral all the time, like just randomly.
Right.
Yeah, so that's why it's good to post. You never know what might do well. I would try it. Just literally don't do the trends and stuff like that, because it's not, you've got to stay authentic to you, but just, I don't know, like covers do really well. And
yeah, right.
yeah.
Okay.
Your heart's got to be in it though.
I've only just started doing Twitch, man. That's enough of a completely different like subculture there as well. So
what have you been doing? You've been doing live streams on there and stuff?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing acoustic looping stuff, and then I'm doing just like a night where I do like electric guitar stuff. So I like do shreddy like wanky guitar stuff on that as well.
Yeah.
And then I'm starting to stream the podcasts on the Twitch as well. So
yeah,
I don't know.
That's cool.
Just figuring out what to do, man.
That's it. It takes a lot of figuring out and kind of working out what works for you and everything, and also a lot of procrastinating and just watching loads of shit on there, because you get drawn in, and then you're like, oh no, another social media platform to get addicted to. Yay!
Totally.
Oh, it's
totally.
Dreadful.
All
That's
right.
the hard thing, because you're expected to like adopt it all, but then you get drawn in as well, and you can't be without it.
You got to somehow live a life in there as well.
Oh God, I know.
Can you remember your first gig?
Oh, actually, so first proper gig, because obviously I used to do lots of gigs, like, well, not gigs, but like shows at assembly at school. Do you know what I mean? So I did all that when I was a kid. But then my first proper gig, I think, that I can remember was with my first band, Brother Jerome, when I was 13. And we played at the Shed in Leicester, which was a proper music venue, like rock music venue.
Nice.
And I actually stumbled across this video from way back then. And it was, we did Supermassive Black Hole by Muse.
Yep.
And,
great song.
And it's this really grainy like video of us playing at the Shed. And me singing that. So yeah, that's probably one of I think because there's video evidence of it as well, that makes me think, oh, okay, you know, there might have been something earlier than that, but that was probably the first gig I can remember. Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. So you did your GCSEs and your A levels in music, and then you went off to study. So where did you study?
Middlesex Uni.
Middlesex Uni. And was your family supportive of this, or did they sort of Oh
yeah, I mean, my mum's a university lecturer, so she's an academic, so she's like, that's what I mean, so that's what she does, so she's like all for that, you know what I mean?
Great.
She was like, although it was, I think she guided me in that direction, the same as my brother. Like, don't think anything was ever forced. But like I said, I think like if I knew what I know now, I probably wouldn't have maybe done that. Maybe I would have just like, you know, just gone for it. Just been like, okay, I'm just gonna go and get a job there, and or just because actually I spent like a couple of years just doing busking to earn money
Yeah.
in London.
Yeah.
So that kind of you know, and I realized that was possible. But you don't think that's possible until you actually do it. You think, how on earth can I live in London just busking?
Yeah.
Like, and it's hard. It's really hard, but I did manage that somehow. But yeah,
That's
but
amazing.
yeah, but it was still, you know, going to uni was great because I met some amazing. I've met, you know, I've got some of my best friends from there. So
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
so it's
I mean, to be fair, like a lot of the university experience is all about like making connections with people and
yeah,
sort of expanding your
Yeah.
horizons a bit. I think that's
yeah,
awesome.
it's like stepping stone to like adult life, isn't it? Really?
I think so.
Yeah, for sure.
So were you there for 2 years?
3 years.
3 years.
I did the full 3-year course, and then yeah, and then I worked in Sainsbury's for a little bit, which was soul destroying, and like just not for me. And then that's when I was like, okay, no, I'm gonna go and do some busking. So I had an amp, and I tried it a couple of times, realized I could make some money out of it, and so that's when I did that. And I think that really like that got me a lot of other opportunities as well, like some really cool gigs from that, from people just seeing me out and about.
Yeah, right.
And yeah, but I actually had to stop that because it just took a toll on my voice, you know, me saying with my whole belting. And I think when you're out all day in the cold and the pollution and everything, it just didn't do me good at all.
Yeah.
So I had some real issues with my voice, and I had to go and see a vocal coach that I got put onto that is actually a mentor more than anything. He's amazing, and he's kind of he's also someone that's helped me a lot in terms of like getting my last manager and things like that. And yeah, it's amazing how things come back around, like certain opportunities, you know what I mean, that you meet someone and then that spirals, and it's kind of, yeah, it's so cool. It's like, yeah.
So you finished studying, you moved to London. Were you already writing your own material, or were you just sort of figuring out what you were doing, or?
I've literally been writing since I was like, my first song I think I wrote when I was like 10. And I think because it was after I when I was 9, I lived in America for a year, or like 9 months. So my mum got a job to work at Harvard, which is a very big thing. Yeah.
It's very
like
posh.
Super, yeah. So she did like research stuff over there. So that was an amazing opportunity when we were really young. I've got real fond memories of that experience. And I remember coming back, and then I've got like this lyric book, and I wrote a song called US of A for about my experience in America when I was like 10. But then, and I started off on piano, actually. I started off on keyboard and stuff, just plonking, you know, chords, and then moved to guitar. But yeah, so I've been writing for so long since then. And then, yeah, and then I think when I met my manager, he then put me in sessions with people, which I'd never thought about doing before, like writing with other people.
Yep.
I was always very adamant it would just be me, you know, and anyone else that was coming in is just going to kind of, I don't know, ruin things. but actually, like it has been really good, and it's helped develop me as a writer a lot.
Absolutely.
But you know, it's been very good. But ultimately, I still think that some of the best songs are just that come from me, you know, because then it's just like, I like to think of it as like it's like a diary entry, and that's how I write my songs anyway. That's what they sound like. It's kind of like more like a diary entry than kind of a thought through piece, you know, of art or something.
So more like a snapshot.
Yeah, it's just like an outpouring of thoughts. Are always the best songs. I feel like when I think about it too much and try and think, oh, is this good? And you question yourself, then I think every like songwriter will say that. Every musician will say that. You know what I mean? It's just like the best songs always come when they just flow and you're not thinking about it. Yeah.
I think some of the best songs I've ever written are exactly like that, where you just sort of go, oh, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it?
It's just like, oh, that's that you know, you sort of catch it from somewhere, and sort of it's coming past, and you just happen to be there and grabbed it and sort of
Yeah.
sucked it down into your body or something. I don't know.
It's so good. It's so good. And we always like kind of like waiting on that like spark of inspiration, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
It's just like, when's it gonna come? Yeah.
So
I
when
do
you
sometimes wonder, I'm like, go on, sorry.
when you were busking, this is when you first moved down to London. So how long ago was that?
Well, no, so I was in
You're
London,
in Middlesex.
I was at Middlesex Uni, which is in London. It's in North London.
Yes.
So I studied here in London. And then when I graduated, I started doing busking and stuff.
Was that like South Bank and stuff like that, or?
That was my spots were like Hammersmith outside the station, like Leicester Square, near, not like the usual, like, I can't be able to explain, actually. I'm not gonna be able to explain. It's so bad, like I don't know anywhere in London, really. And South Kensington, outside South Kensington station, was quite good.
Yeah.
Near like where the flower market was, and I'd get a lot of people buying me flowers, which was really nice. But then they don't realize I have to like travel back with my guitar and my amp. And it's like, where do I put all of this with all the money and everything as well? It's really nice, but it's also like an effort. But yeah, I actually miss those days, actually. And I feel like I've been thinking about going back out and kind of doing that. Maybe I don't know if it'd be allowed at the minute.
There's a whole other thing happening this year. I'm not sure whether you've noticed there's been a pandemic on, so probably not. I'm not sure whether you've noticed. It's just been this whole thing that's shut the world down.
I know, but it's kind of so normal now, isn't it? And it's just like, oh yeah, this is like I've not been able to do things in so long.
Oh, I know.
God.
I know. So with your busking, this is your main outlet, or were you already starting to record stuff? Were you gigging at night time, or were you doing everything at once, or?
So I was doing a lot of I was doing gigs and stuff as well, and like, and pub gigs and things, like, covers and things to get some money as well. They would bring in money, and then like venue gigs. I was playing my own stuff. But the busking was like the majority. It was probably about 75% of my income. And then I started kind of doing more like recently, kind of the past couple of years, doing like writing for like library tracks and things like that with producers, where your songs kind of could get used for adverts and TV and things like that. So I've had like a bit of success with that on some things, which has been good. And that's brought in some money. Also, like the past couple of years, I've also been doing stuff for Hits Radio, and it's like the talk, but like the jingles for like radio. Right. So it's like, so like biggest throwbacks and Hits Radio, all that shit.
That's wicked.
So I do all that. So if you ever listen to Hits Radio, you'll probably hear me on there. So yeah, I do a lot of that, and then other radio stations and stuff as well, just around the UK and other places, other countries and stuff as well. So that's another source of income. But that's probably been the past couple of years. I've had more of that kind of thing come through, and like writing work and stuff for producers, stuff that I might not necessarily feature on, but I've sang on and written on.
Yeah.
So yeah, bits and bobs.
So as an artist, just before the lockdown, could you walk us through just like a normal sort of week in the life of Nuala? What would you normally be doing, like performance wise and lifestyle in the before times?
Okay, because before, I mean, sessions, there was a lot more of that going on in terms of I'd actually go to people's studios and I've worked with some amazing people, actually, some really amazing producers and songwriters. But I won't start name dropping because that's lame. But yeah, so I did a lot of that, and it was mainly to like work on stuff for me, and then also for like other stuff, whether it's for like other artists or just to pitch to labels and things like that. So I did a lot of that kind of thing. And yeah, it was before lockdown. It was working on trying to get like my first EP out. I'd put stuff out before, but then I'd just taken it down because I was like, oh, it wasn't good enough, or, and so, and I did eventually get together an EP of like older songs that was released in October. Now there's like other things going on. It's just, I feel like it's so oh God, it's so up and down, the whole music thing.
Right.
I'm sure you know,
Oh yeah.
it's, and you can be on this path of thinking you're going this way, and then all of a sudden something can happen and it's kind of changes your mind on things or your direction. And I am kind of in a bit of a limbo stage at the minute, but it's like potentially good. But
And
yeah,
do
because
you
I'm
think
no
that's
longer.
because of the pandemic, or is that sort of the path that you're on already? You sort of just
No, like it's been like that consistently, I think. Like ever since things started kind of ramping up for me, really. I mean, like, there's been like little moments where I kind of thought that things would happen a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? And then it hasn't, or like things can surprise you sometimes as well. And you know, I don't, it's weird because I really want to say, like, so because I'm no longer with the manager that I did have, which actually he helped me so much. He kind of he got my first EP out. I worked with this great producer on it, and that was great. And really, I feel like he's who helped me kind of put me into like the music industry sphere
yeah,
world.
yeah,
Because before that, I was very much busker, trying to just get heard, gigging around, but I didn't really know people.
yeah,
Do you see what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah,
and so like now I'm kind of in that world a little bit more, and I've met some great people, worked with some great people. Um, and then I kind of and then literally the past couple of months, I've just been like, okay, my plan for this year is just to. So I'm going a bit off from what you said. I don't know, but I'm just. Is this okay? It's
yeah,
just like ramble.
yeah. No, it's great.
Okay.
It's great.
All right.
It's
Yeah.
very
No,
interesting.
so okay, good. Yeah, and then like so the past couple months, I was like, okay, this year I'm just gonna put out like as much stuff as possible, and I've got like a load of songs that I'm supposed to be featuring on with like producers, but it's all quite different, and dance music and stuff. And there's this whole like being confused as to whether you should be releasing stuff that's not your own music, or like featuring on stuff that's not like that doesn't fit with your brand per se, but it's still good, and it's still good to have stuff out. So that's something I've been like struggling with. But my whole plan was, yeah, I'm gonna put this music out and everything, and then literally recently I've kind of I've kind of been in touch with these other guys in America, and they want to do some stuff with me, and that. So it's kind of like changed. I was on this path of like I'm going to do everything myself, and I kind
Yep,
of felt quite free
yep,
about that,
yep,
because I was like, oh, I had 2 years with the manager, and although he really helped me in terms of the connections and contacts and stuff, I also kind of felt like, I don't know, like I'm very hands-on, and I'm very grassroots. Do you know what I mean? That's
yep,
me.
yep.
And like I like to have control over my career and know what's going on, and have those connections with first person with people rather than it going through someone else. And I was always felt a bit weird about that,
Yep.
and so I was actually, yeah, I felt really good, and I was just like, oh, I've got the power back, and I can do what the hell I want, and don't have to go through someone else, and which was really good. And then literally, as soon as I started kind of feeling like, okay, yeah, like I'm just gonna do this myself. I'm gonna record an acoustic EP because producers don't always get me, and blah blah blah, and then these guys came about, and I feel like it was like a natural thing. I always said to my, because I was thinking about getting another manager, and then I was like, no, do you know what? The right manager will come to me. It will be at the right moment, and I won't force it. And I do think there is something to be said for I wouldn't call myself like a spiritual person or anything, like, even though I'm around a lot of those kinds of people, like, I'm around a lot of hippies, like, and I'm definitely a hippie at heart, but like there is something to be said for the whole like manifesting, and like the universe and stars aligning and all this shit, because it always seems to happen this way. As soon as I kind of like, it happened with getting my first manager as well, and it kind of like, as soon as you just kind of, when you know what you need to be doing and you're so clear and you're so focused, it's like these things come about and they kind of slot in, and it's like, I don't know, it's just weird how things happen. But yeah, so I don't want to say too much about that, because like we know with the music industry, and this is part of the thing, right? Like it's waves and dips, and like you never actually truly know, because, and I think this is part of the hard thing about, especially if you want to achieve that dream, of touring the world and doing that whole thing, like you are going to be confronted. And if you believe you're good and other people believe in you, right? You're going to be told so much that you're amazing, like, you know, you're going to be massive. And then you're going to be let down by certain things. It's not always down to the people either. It's circumstances or whatever. But ultimately you realize that kind of everyone that like wants you to do well and wants to be on that journey with you is going to like hype you up and is going to like, they wouldn't want to join up with you if they didn't think that you were going to be big. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like they're going to sell you the world. They're going to like be like, yeah, because they've got to believe it as well. But that also means that you're kind of put on this high a lot of the time, and then also on a lot of lows when you start thinking, oh my God, maybe I'm not actually cut out for this, because things don't go to plan, or things don't seem as good as they did initially. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So yeah, so it is kind of it's been like a constant thing like that, really. But that's kind of where I am right now. Is I had this plan, and now this has happened, and now I'm kind of just waiting to see. I'm in this like limbo stage at the minute, waiting to see what's going to happen, and not kind of, you know, not fully deciding on anything yet. I'm kind of, unsure, but
that's full on. So I think just going back to what you said before, I think two things about that. When you were talking, I was listening to it, and I thought that what you said's really, really true in the fact that there's two things. People are attracted to people, or want to be around people that are doing well. So like, and it doesn't matter if you're financially doing well. It doesn't matter if you're like, if you've, you know, even career successfully, if you're someone that's focused on an end goal and you're working towards that, I think people want to work with those people. I think people want to be around those people. If you're just sort of flailing around and desperate and doing whatever with everybody, sometimes that gives out a bit of a manky vibe. People don't really want to be around that. And I think that goes into what you said as well. I like the idea of that idea, you know, that what you said about spirituality, the idea of like, you know, manifesting it. I think if you're like, the times I've met the most interesting people, or the times that I've had the most interesting experience, or the times that I build relationships, are when I'm not expecting it. So I'm not putting on that face. I'm not pretending to be something.
You.
I'm just me. And then like that's the way I met my wife. Like my wife was dating a friend of mine, and we just got on really well. And I wasn't, you know, trying to date her because she was dating a mate of mine. So then I got to know her, and then we sort of really liked each other. But then, you know, nothing happened because I was dating someone else. She was dating someone else. They broke up, and we met up at a party like a few months later, and it was like, hey, you know, and it's 21 years now. So I think that makes a lot of sense. If you're like,
yes, yeah.
Okay, we're fine. But if you're focused on being the best you can be and working hard and, you know, crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's, people go, hey, that person looks really interesting. Let's see if we can work with her.
Yeah, it's so true. I think there's a lot to be said for like, I think if you are frustrated and not happy with kind of where you're at or where you're going, and you're also like, I think it's like living in the present rather than like living in the future. Like if you're constantly always, it's good to obviously plan your future a little bit and have those goals and those dreams. I think that's great. And like, it is definitely the thing that like, you know, music in general, it is the thing that kind of like makes me want to get up in the morning like every day. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking about it all the time. But yeah, I think you have to be happy with where you're at and be like, oh, I'm just really enjoying my life doing what I'm doing, rather than constantly being, but why am I not here yet? Why have I not got this? Why have, you know? And it's the same with relationships, like you're saying, because I always say that to people when people are having like relationship issues and stuff. It's like, man, just focus on yourself. Just love being with you. Do you know what I mean? And then it will come. And it always happens that way. Because when you are just you, it's self-love. Like that's what it is. It's like, you know, with whatever area it is, whether it's your love life or your career or whatever, like you got to love yourself first, and you got to love just like, you know, being present and doing what you do and appreciating stuff, gratitude and all that shit. Oh, I've lost you. Can't hear you.
You got me now? 1, 2?
Yes. Yeah. There we go. I think something. Yeah, you're right. I think it was something a bit loose.
Yeah. So just if you can walk us through like a career highlight for you. So it doesn't have to be like Wembley, or it can be Wembley.
I wish it was Wembley.
or
Unfortunately, not yet.
So a lot of times for me, like my career
Yeah.
highlights have been particular gigs that I've like played to certain like a crowd or like I did a tour in Egypt a little while ago, and it was amazing because it was all just me with a backpack, and like that's a career highlight for me. Stuff like that, and it's not it's not huge, but it's something that I will always remember. So have you got any of those that you can talk about?
Yeah. Can I ask though, like, how did you go about that? Did you kind of just go and just like see where you could perform, or did you have a plan for it? Or
Well, talking about that idea of like just opening yourself up and working with a bunch of different people, like you've been doing with different producers. When I first moved to the UK 5 years ago, I was just applying to everything, like anything that came past.
Yeah, that's the same when I was in London.
Just yes, I'll do that. Yes, I can do that. Yes, just say yes. And something came through. It was an email from an agent saying like, "Oh, we've got this gig with this Egyptian guy. He wants a looping artist." And I do looping. So I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll do that." And okay, he wants to meet you. So I went and did it, and it was turns out it was this massive Egyptian star, a guy by the name of Hamza Namira, and he was doing a TV show for Al Arabi TV, which is like the biggest Arabic-speaking television station in the world.
Wow.
I had no idea. So I've just lobbed in with my backpack on, and it's like there's TV cameras everywhere. There's like all this stuff. And so I did this thing in the studio with a song, and what he was doing was grabbing traditional Arabic tunes and then basically putting a modern spin on them. So there was like me, and I was playing like guitar and doing looping, and then there was a beatboxer who was originally from Saudi Arabia, who was Omar Say No More, and there was a rapper from Egypt called Zap Thawat, who was a massive star in Egypt. So I'm walking in and I was like, oh, this is pretty weird. Anyway, so then I ended up, he goes, oh, because we're doing some backup. He goes, oh, you can sing. So why don't you sing some of this? So I ended up singing this whole big end thing of this song. And it's got millions and millions and millions of views. So
I want to see that. Can you send me that?
Yeah, I'll send you the link later. And we did the film clip outside of Shepherd's Bush tube station.
Sick.
And it's wicked.
That's wicked.
It was so fun. It was just like a day, and did it. And he was really lovely, and the guys were really lovely, and I sort of kept in contact with them. So over the years, I've just got, every time I put music out, all these Egyptian people come and say hi, and they say, we love you, and they just quote this line. Life. I sang this. I just made up like this whole lyrical line. It's life is just a game, and it was like a metaphor thing. Anyway, they always quote me this stuff. So I thought,
that's so cool.
Well, I just got in contact with Hamza, and I said, oh, I'm going to come. I want to come down. Can you help me out? And so he put me in contact with some, producers and stuff. And I just went and did like not even a half a dozen, like 2 or 3 or 4 gigs, I think it was, maybe 4. And they're all low key. They weren't really big, but they were awesome. And it was so much fun. And I ended up, and not the highlight, but the 2 real big highlights was I played at this in Cairo, so it was all in Cairo, and I played in this like artist retreat. There was like they do like traditional pottery, and so this guy has pumped a bunch of money into the local community to get the community involved in pottery and the arts. So it's like this artist retreat, and I was on the top of this building, like 5-story building, as they were calling to prayer. So like all across Cairo, when it's that time, I think it's 8 o'clock or something, they call to prayer, and it was just amazing. The sun was going down. I'm sitting, and there was all these people on a rooftop come to listen to me play, and I was like, growing up
That's what I mean. Those moments, those moments count so much. Like, I actually think sometimes some of the best moments for me have been like at festivals around campfires and things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, rather than just like the gigs on stage. But actually, coming to your question, I think probably one of the best gigs I played was supporting, Newton Faulkner.
Oh, I'm a massive Newton Faulkner fan.
Hey, there we go.
Oh my God.
I did a couple of dates for him.
Hand Built by Robots is one of my favorite albums of all times.
I'm not surprised actually, because I think because he's an amazing guitarist as well.
Oh,
So
it's
I always think
ridiculous.
when you come across, yeah, I always think, yeah, they have much appreciation for Newton Faulkner, and he was great as well. He was so good, and his fans are amazing because obviously they really appreciate like good real music and like kind of raw music. So they fucking loved me as well, which was great.
That's
And
wicked, man.
yeah, it was so good. And
He
the
lives near
first
me.
night, no way.
I
Where are
see
you?
I see him all the time. I live in Muswell Hill.
Oh,
So I
okay.
see him all the time. I'm always like, oh,
Yeah.
there's Newton Faulkner. There's like,
Ah!
he's probably like the star I've seen in London the most. I've got such a man
That's
crush on him.
mad. That's mad. Yeah, no, it was so good. And yeah, it's probably one of the biggest gigs I've played as well. But it was just two gigs in actually it was in Reading. Can't remember the name of it was like can't remember the name of the venue now, which is really bad, but it was like like university
Yeah,
like venues.
yeah.
It's kind of yeah. But yeah, it was about maybe like 1,500 to 2,000 people or something. So it was like quite a nice size of people. And yeah, the first night they weren't totally sure yet because it was through this kind of like competition type thing. And this is actually why I think it's really hard when you don't have like recorded music to show what you can do. But I've always said I want people to see me live to get it, because I think that's where I shined. Do you know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
basically I put in these like, just live videos and yeah, and they loved that. So he kind of booked me for it. And the first night, they weren't totally sure how it was going to go, whatever. So I only had like 3 songs. And then like after the gig, it went really well. And he was just like, how many songs do you want to do for the next show then? And I was like, how many? And how many can I have? And he was just like, like 8, 9. I was like, sick, yeah. So he like trusted me to come back the second night and do like a full set.
That's amazing.
So yeah, that was wicked. And like they were so responsive, the audience. And I felt like a little bit like a celebrity when I came out, like a little bit, and they all kind of swarmed around me and, getting my autograph and chatting to me, which was really sweet.
That's so
And kind of
cool.
gained some kind of fans that have still carried through, to now, which has been really good. So that is definitely a highlight. I also got this opportunity to work with Nile Rodgers, and
No.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, this was quite a while ago now. This is like when I was still at uni then, I think. And yeah, that was pretty amazing. I was basically picked out of like 3,000 people to be the vocalist for this like remix track thing. And it was with, do you know Rudimental
Oh
as
yeah.
well?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Rudimental and Nile Rodgers, and it was basically like this 3-day thing where we all got together and jammed with like a band. And there was like they picked out various other like young people that had kind of, whether they were like guitarists and even like social media people and stuff like that. And so that was an amazing experience as well. So like obviously that's a bit of that was quite a moment, like working with them on that.
Did you get to have a chat with him?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I was even in the papers with him. I got a picture next to him on the Evening Standard.
Oh, so you're a proper star then. You're a proper star. Oh, she's been in the paper.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, they were like, who wants to be? No, I was like first hand up. Do you know what I mean? When they were like, who wants to be in the paper? Get some photos done with Niall. And I was like, me. Yeah, so that was really cool.
That's
there's
amazing.
been some really cool moments. I won the Green King competition, which is like the Green King pubs,
the pub chain, yeah,
around there. Yeah, so and I got into the actually it was quite funny because it was oh no, I shouldn't say that actually, because I don't want to say that, like, because a lot of them, I've got to say it now, but like it's like usually like a public vote type thing, right?
Yeah.
But like obviously I hate doing things like that. I'm like, I'm never gonna do, like, it's just a popularity contest. It's not down to how good you are, all this kind of thing, whatever. But the guy, you have to go through these various stages, and basically there was a guy that ran one of the pubs, and he was just like, look, I just think you're great, and I'm just gonna put you in to like play at the main show anyway. So I basically got fast tracked, and then pretty much I supported Razorlight because they kind of they went, and I won the competition, and I won like $5,000 and my weight's worth in beer.
Your weight's worth in beer?
Yes.
What?
So they came with like big kind of what are they called? Well, loads of stacks of beer and stuff, which I think I actually still have like a couple left, but I don't intend to drink them. They're just there as like a memory type thing.
Oh,
But,
that's
like,
a pity. It's a pity
yeah.
you're not bigger. You would have got more beer.
I know, right? A few more inches, that's true. But yeah, so that was amazing because loads of my friends came and stuff, and my family, and I wasn't because it was all like it was all rock bands. Because obviously
Right.
it's Green King pub.
Yeah.
I was the only female. I was the first one on, and most of them were all rock bands. And then I did not think I was going to win either.
Oh, that's
And
hilarious.
they were really good as well. These bands were like fucking, and also, yeah, they were so good. And I was the first one on, so I got really drunk backstage, just like having the time. I just didn't think I would win, and then they called my name, and I came out, and I was like, "What?" So that was a pretty cool moment as well.
That's awesome.
But I think even like the little things as well, like just kind of working with great producers and writers and things like that, and I've worked with like people that like Joe Rubel, who worked with Ed Sheeran on his like first few albums, and people like, and I was in a session not long ago with Luke from Clean Bandit.
Oh, right. Clean Bandit actually.
Pretty amazing.
Clean Bandit actually filmed a film clip at my daughter's school recently.
Did they?
Yeah, there's
That's weird.
They did a film clip for, I can't remember, it was for something to do with the NHS.
Oh, cool.
They did like a song, and they came, and my daughter's actually in one of the Clean Bandit film clips. So there you go.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I mean, that's a claim to fame. Isn't it,
Oh, I guess.
So
they're a good band. I like that band actually.
No, they are great. They're really good, and yeah, it's just come across like really lovely as well. And Luke is really lovely. But yeah, like, so I've kind of I've done some cool stuff, and there's still some things kind of like, obviously things that I've worked with other people. That this is the thing as well, when you write a lot of songs and stuff, is kind of a lot of stuff just kind of in the wings waiting, and and I really would love them to kind of get out there into the world, not for me, like songs for other people, but it's all kind of, you never know what might come of anything. So
well, the world seems to be slowly getting back to normal, so hopefully some of those projects will start to see the light of day soon.
I hope so. I just want a gig, to be honest, as well, and just
I booked my first gig the other day. It felt bloody marvelous.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was for
where are you gigging?
The Sound Lounge.
Oh yeah.
Just for like a singer-songwriter night.
Yeah.
And then I've got a festival booking, I think, and then just a couple of private functions later in the year that people are starting really to sort of go like, okay, it seems like things are you're going to be able to meet in public soon. And
I mean, do you think, obviously they're all saying that like festivals are going to happen and people are buying festival tickets and everything. I mean, what do you think about that?
Look, to be honest, I look at the figures really closely, and I'm still looking at the figures. And while it is true that the rates of infection and everything are dropping, I checked it today, and there's still average 206 people a day dying, and average 1,200 a day infections. So it's going down.
It will continue to go down though, right? Because that's the idea. The more people that get the vaccine.
The last time the schools opened up, it took about 2 weeks, and then the spike went through the roof. So in September.
But with the vaccine, because that's what they're banking on.
That's what they're banking on. But here's the problem I see. Humans aren't built for this. We're not built for a year of being told to change your complete life. So people are just sick of it. And I know personally very sensible people, that they're not breaking the rules, but you can see everyone's getting real bloody tired of it. And I know last year when the kids went to school, people basically said, "Oh no, it's fine. They're in school. We can just, basically things are back to normal now." And my hope is that the vaccine rolls out fast enough to stop another spike. I'm cautiously optimistic for a late summer. I think a late summer, early autumn kind of deal. There'll be some stuff that might go ahead, but everything still is, I think we'll know more in like a month, after a month of the kids being back at school. Once that happens, I think once we're into April and the rates are still falling, I'll be like, right, I'm going to start going hard for the end of summer. At the moment, I'm just putting things in and putting out feelers, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I'm still kind of very much like well, as I said before as well, I'm kind of in this limbo stage at the minute anyway. So until that's kind of sorted, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. But at the same time, I am a bit resistant to kind of booking things or doing anything, or even like going to festivals with my friends. Do you know what I mean? Like because it's kind of like, I can't. We're still in a lockdown now. We're not expected to get out until, is it June 21st?
Well,
or is that like
April?
loosened?
Well, April and May, they're talking about opening up gyms and things like that. And so I know Scotland has just made it so that you can like have outdoor sports again.
Yeah.
But I think it's basically everything's supposed to be back by June, I think. But it's a staggered thing.
Which is still quite a while. So I just can't see how festivals are going to be on a month after we're like straight out of a lockdown. I don't know, but there we go.
But also people are going to be gagging for it, man.
I know, you can't have a festival. I'm sorry, like no one is going to be going to a festival and not like wanting to get in the crowd and hug people, and
there's going to be so many babies born in like March next year.
Oh my God!
Like, can you imagine?
It's so true.
There's going to be so much shagging happening at stuff. Like, honestly, some of this year, if the virus is gone, the amount of like unwanted pregnancies are going to happen is going to be through the roof. I guarantee.
God, I know. It's so true.
Oh man,
people are just going to be letting loose.
Oh man, so many ways. There's just going to be so much drinking.
Yeah.
Like I know what pubs are like. I've grown up in pubs. It's on a Saturday night. If the spectre of death is no longer hanging over you, man, people are just going to be making some really rash decisions, hey?
Yeah, I can't wait, to be honest. I can't wait to see it. I can't blimmin' wait.
It's going to be nice.
Hopefully.
I'm very much enjoying the start of spring. It's
been really nice today. Yeah, it's been good.
The flowers are blooming and it's beautiful. So we've been having too much fun talking. We've already gone for an hour. Just walk us through. It's about a year since we all sort of locked down for the first time.
Yeah.
Just walk us through how it sort of affected you as an artist and how it affected you as a person.
So, honestly, I think I'm actually quite lucky because I feel like I'm someone that, and especially I've realised more the past couple of months, but I actually really enjoy my own company. And like it's weird because actually in certain like atmosphere, like environments, like at gigs and things like that, when people see me, some people would think that I'm a bit of an extrovert, but I'm actually like, and I do get my my kind of energy from people, but to a certain extent, but I'm actually very happy with myself and very happy just hanging out with myself, and I don't not worrying about other people, and I've kind of I don't mind. And also I feel like it's been this last year, I feel like it's just been like a preparation period, and kind of it's not, I feel almost bad saying it because I know a lot of people have struggled. A lot of people have really struggled and like not being able to see people and kind of but I've been fine.
That's
like
amazing.
Obviously I've had actually more at the start, like last year, like when it first started, the first couple of months, I feel like you kind of maybe got a bit itchy feet, and I was kind of didn't know what to do with myself and was just going on lots of walks and kind of but I think that's more just like my mentality anyway. I get like that here and there. We all have like bad days, do you know what I mean, where we just kind of feel, in fact today for me has not been great actually, and I'm not talking like, I'm kind of pretty stable in my mind, but today I've just been feeling a little irritable, not really focused, not really knowing what to do, kind of thing.
Yep.
I always have those days here and there, but in general I think it's been all right because I've written some really good songs. I've I kind of put that EP out, the first EP, like in October last year, and had a couple of singles before then. So during that time I actually managed to get music out for the first time and actually have a presence on Spotify and other platforms, and live streaming has been such a big thing for me.
Yes.
Like I do live streams since March. Actually I'd done a few things before, but March last year, and I do basically a live stream every Wednesday on my Facebook page, and it's been amazing. I feel like I've built like a community.
Yeah.
It's not just people that like the music or friends that might come on. It's like actually people talk to each other on there now, and there's people that come on there every single week without fail.
Yep.
Which is so lovely. And it's still on average probably like 30 people, like a small amount of people, but it's so nice. And I think that's also a good thing. Is I think the reason why people struggle as well is not having like that thing to focus on, right? Like that. And sometimes when you know that every Wednesday I'm going to be getting on and doing this, it's kind of like, and sometimes I don't always feel in the mood either. But then as soon as I've done it and I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, this is, because it's good. You have to prepare yourself for it and kind of, so that's been amazing, because it's actually like having that connection with my followers and people that love my music and that like love me as well. And kind of like, you know what I mean? Like the raw, unfiltered me, which is so good and so makes me feel great. And I get lovely comments from people being like, I make their week every week, and kind of especially during this time I think I've really helped people, which is good. So
that's marvelous.
That's been a really good thing.
That's marvelous.
And I don't know if I would have done that if it wasn't for all this. I don't know if I would have done like a weekly thing like that.
Probably not.
Yeah.
I know I definitely wouldn't have got into all the streaming stuff that I'm doing now. Like I definitely wouldn't have started this podcast without the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to start a podcast. I've always wanted to do one. Like I listen to podcasts and I think they're awesome, and I've just never done it because it's but this has given me the opportunity. So
good for you.
You got to look at it as opportunities.
That's what I mean. Like, and I've organized a lot of my life as well. Like, not just music stuff, but just generally like organizing things like my cupboards, like, my kitchen cupboards and stuff. But oh my God, the other day, we never see spiders in the flat, like because I'm on the top floor. I don't know. I just don't really see them that often. Right. And then I was cleaning out my kitchen cupboard the other day, and I found like 7 spiders, like 2 big ones as well. And I was like, oh, they're all hiding in here. I was like, Jesus, all behind my spices and stuff, I was trying to like dangle them out the window, like, come on.
You can't impress me with spider stories. You're talking to a man who grew up in outback Australia.
No, I forget. Yeah,
I have had more than 3 or 4 very large spiders land directly on my face over my life. So I used to live in a caravan when I was like 14, 15, in the caravan in the back of my parents' house. Like they had a house, but I had 3 siblings. So we only had a 2-bedroom house. So I got to go and sleep in the caravan. And quite often of a night time, there'd be a spider like as big as my hand crawling across the ceiling. And quite often they'd just land on the bed.
No, they wouldn't.
Oh, yes, they would.
As big as your hand?
Oh, yeah.
As big as your hand?
Yeah. I've got big hands.
No.
Giant hairy spiders that move very fast and go straight for your face.
No, that's horrible.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that is like, I've only had one experience like that, but it was with a much smaller spider. But I was like, I woke up, it was in my bed, and I was just like kind of half asleep, and my friend was next to me as well, and she was asleep, and I was like, and I could just feel it kind of tickling on my, and I was just like, what is this, like itching my arm, being like, what is that? And then I wake up and there's a spider on me, and I screamed, and she screamed. She was like, what? And I was like, it was a spider. But to be honest, that's a really weak story.
I once nearly crashed my car because I was driving along, and there was a spider probably it's hard to see, but like my hand is there. It's probably about up to my first knuckle on my chest. And I'm driving, and I look down. I feel him crawling up my belly.
No. And
I look down, and he's on my belly. And then I went, oh, and he ran straight at my face.
Oh no!
I knocked him off, and then he landed underneath the pedals of the car, like as I was driving down the street. So I was like trying to kick him out from underneath because I didn't have any shoes on.
Oh no! You don't want to squish him either.
Well, I don't want to squish him. I don't want him to bite me.
No.
I don't want to,
No.
So I nearly crashed the car. In the end, I basically just stalled it and jumped out and tried to get him out with a pair of.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Anyway, that's.
But you must be okay with spiders living with that, though.
I mean,
to a certain extent.
you get used to it.
Yeah,
but
that's
like,
what I'm saying. You know.
You get used to it, but they're still not pleasant. It's not something you look forward to.
Not. No, but then I know people that are like really that love spiders.
They're
Do you know what I
amazing
mean?
creatures.
Mm.
I like them on a contextual level, and I think they do a wonderful thing in nature, but I prefer them not to be on my chest all the
I
same.
get you. It's like it's always going to be a surprise, isn't it?
Oh
You're
yeah.
not expecting
Oh yeah.
it. Of course. Yeah,
All right.
that's
Well,
true.
let's we could chat about spiders all night, but let's finish off with a speed round.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask a bunch of questions to wind us up. There
Right.
it is. Okay, so when I say a speed round, it's almost never a speed round, but just
Okay.
try and think of the first thing that comes to your mind. So
Yeah, I will. I'm really bad at this because I go on a lot, as you can probably tell. So
you're all right.
yeah.
Who's your
Right.
favorite artist right now?
Right now, okay. Do you know what? I've actually got my Spotify up because I'm like, oh God, right now, my favorite artist. Oh, it's so hard. Mm, because when you say favorite, it's got to be someone that's kind of like I listen to more of their music than just the odd song.
Yeah.
Um, I've been listening to a lot of like Eliza, and she does like Eliza Doolittle.
Yeah.
And she had her she had her music, her pop music back in the day,
Yeah.
but now she's got this like this EP that's like soulful, like kind of neo soul, like hip hoppy beats kind of
Right.
vibe, like very different. And she's under just Eliza, not Eliza Doolittle.
There you
So
go.
I'm listening to a lot of that. It's
Okay.
it's like really sexy music. It's like,
Cool.
you know? Yeah. So yeah, I've been listening to her a lot. Let's say her. She's
Okay. What's your favorite song right now?
Oh God. Do you know what? Actually, yes, because I came across this song again, and it was a song I used to listen to when I was younger. And it was on this like PlayStation. It was on this advert on Instagram. It was like for PlayStation or something. But you know, "Ooh Ah" by the Grits. Do you remember that song?
Yeah.
I like ooh ah. So I liked it, and I've been playing it every morning recently. It's just a jam.
That's great.
Yeah.
And what was the last song you listened to?
Well, all day today I've been listening to like old soul music. So I can't say, actually I can check on Spotify here. So the last one was Family Affair by Sly and the Family Stone.
Quality. Quality.
Yeah. So like just music like that. And also I was realizing that there's so much soul music that like, like has been sampled.
Yep.
In like tunes now or the past couple. And like there was even a couple I was listening today and I was like, oh my God, like that tune is you don't realize.
Early hip hop stuff is all soul beats.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
What was the last album you listened to from start to finish?
The last album.
Yeah.
The last album. I think it was Nicole Buss.
Who is that?
You know, she does, and that was one of them that I realized because she does. Her hit was and this comes from an old soul record, but she used a bit of it. But there's this song she does called "You," and it goes, "I feel free as a bird, flying as long as I got." Baby, I'm flying. Oh, so and her voice is like, it's gravelly. It's like, it's so good. And I love that tune. And so I thought, and I kind of, I don't know, just was revisiting that song. And then I was like, I've not actually listened to like the rest of her music. So I just listened to her album.
Great. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, you should listen to her. Like her, to be honest, I really loved listening more so to her live stuff, like the acoustic live stuff, because her voice, you can just hear how raw her voice is and how amazing it is. I just love any voice that's got like graveliness to it.
It's got a story.
Like, yeah.
A voice with a story.
Yeah, for sure.
What's a song you wish you had written?
Oh. The first thing that pops into my head is really cliche, I feel. And it's At Last by Etta James, but I feel like that's just because it's such a classic tune.
What a song.
I feel like it's such a great song. And it is the first thing that popped into my head, but I feel like there's probably other songs. Well, I don't know. Let's go with that because that's what came to me.
That's awesome. No, I love that song. It's beautiful. And the instrumentation on that, like the orchestra in that is just breathtaking. What's your favorite guilty artist pleasure? Like what? Sorry, favorite guilty pleasure artist, I should say. Speak properly.
Well, actually, the other day I was listening to Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus.
Yes.
Which is actually a really good tune. But that was originally written by Jessie J. And I feel like that's why I liked it more, because it was actually, I heard her version of it first. And it was more from like a London, from her. She was like, got off the plane, of an LAX in my tee and my cardigan. She did a different version of it.
Right.
And the words were different. But then I thought, I'll listen to the Miley Cyrus version. So I like it. But actually, I always used to joke and say, I've not listened to them in ages now, but whenever anyone would ask that, I'd always be like, N-dubs. Do you know N-dubs?
No.
Yeah. N-dubs are, I'd say N-dubs are a guilty pleasure.
Okay.
No, 2000 and sexy. Like, they're just... Do you know, like, Talisa?
Yeah.
Daffy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, they were a part of N-dubs.
Okay. All
Back
right.
in the day.
Okay.
I thought they were my new Nikes. What do you mean? Oh, so good. Yeah.
Okay, so if I could wave a magic wand, what other skill would you like to have outside of music?
Because I was going to say be better at the guitar, but that's still music. But and language, probably, like Spanish. I'd love to learn Spanish and like know how to speak it properly.
That's a good one.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a big part of the world's population that speaks Spanish.
That's what I thought, and I'd love to travel around and be able to, just having another language would be amazing. And I think Spanish is such a sexy language.
Plus, you can say Barcelona. That's it. Okay, well that's awesome, Nuala. So thanks so much for doing this. Where can people find more about you?
On my social media, so it's Nuala's Music, so Nualas Music. That's for Instagram and Facebook, and I have a website as well, which is nualaofficial.com, and Spotify, Nuala. Yeah, so all those places.
So just look up Nuala Music or anything like that.
Nuala's Music.
Nuala's
so it's got an
Music.
S on the end of Nuala.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of annoying. I have to always explain that, and I'm like, but I think Nuala Music was taken at the time, of course. But there we go.
That's how it goes.
So it's Nuala's Music. Yeah.
I'm actually really lucky with that. Everything's under Ben Eaton Music because Ben Eaton's a fairly unusual name, and then there's not many of us that play guitar. There's one other guy in America, and I think he weighs about 300 kilos. So,
wow.
And he plays like Louisiana blues. So,
cool.
we don't often get mixed up.
Well, actually, because Ben Eaton's quite a cool, like, solid name, actually. The thing is with Nuala is it's like, so Nuala is very unique.
Yeah.
Just Nuala. But it's actually supposed to be Nuala. The name is actually supposed to, my mum read it in a baby name book and got the pronunciation wrong.
Oh.
So it's actually supposed to be.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's an Irish name. And so actually it's kind of semi-common in Ireland. And there's this other artist called Nuala. And she's been going about for a little while. And basically, I actually applied for this festival. I got booked for this festival. And I was in the festival program. I wasn't expecting to be there. And I was like a highlight in the festival program, right? And they put me in there. But then like my image, but then the description was like of her. I was like, no way. They thought it was me. I know. No, but it was actually quite good because I think there were people that had obviously come to like maybe see her, but I actually got like quite a good audience of people. I know it was a real like fuck up, but but it was still great. I was just like, what?
That's amazing.
And then she actually messaged me maybe a year or so ago. She was like, I think people are getting us both confused. Like she's had people confusing her for me and stuff like that. So that's not ideal, but it's pronounced different.
Nuala.
So you wouldn't think it with a name like Nuala, but it is just because in Ireland it's kind of semi-common, but it's always pronounced Nuala.
There you go. Wow. Yeah. That's amazing. That's a cool story though.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, mate. Well, thanks so much for being on, and hopefully,
pleasure, thank
hopefully
you.
we'll get to play on a stage again soon.
Yeah, hope to get to play a gig together at some point again.
Yeah,
That'd be
the
good.
Bedford was fun though.
Yeah, it was very fun.
All right, mate. Well, have
Right,
a
nice
good
one.
night, and
Thank you.
hopefully late June.
Yes, we're hey.
Woohoo! All right, see ya.
Have a good one. See you later, dude. Bye.
All right, I've stopped recording now.